Shalom. I am Rabbi Nathan Davidovich, speaking to you on behalf of the webyeshiva.org, speaking to you from Efrat, Israel. 1 week from tonight, the saddest day of the Jewish year begins, and that is the holiday of Tisha B'Av, which marks the destruction of both of our Batei Mikdash, both of our holy temples in Jerusalem. This occurred about 2,000 years ago. The first temple was destroyed for the commission of three major sins by the Jewish people. The sins of idol worship, the sins of murder, bloodshed, and the sins of immorality. Those particular sins, if a Jew is forced to do them under penalty of death, he is supposed to give up his life rather than do those things. So there's very severe sins. Yet the destruction of the first temple only lasted 70 years until the second temple was built. After the destruction of the second temple, the destruction continued, the results of that destruction continued till this very day. And we've had many, many tragedies befalling the Jewish people over this last 2,000 years, when we haven't had a third Beis Hamikdash, a third temple, and the tragedy that right now we don't have the third temple. What is the difference between the length of the punishment for the destruction of the first temple and the destruction of the second temple? First of all, we have to decide, why was the second temple destroyed? And what lesson can we learn from that? So the sages tell us that the second temple was destroyed because of sinas chinam, unfounded hatred. And they illustrate this by the story of Kamsa and Kamsa, which is found in the tractate Gittin, Masechet Gittin, starting at page 55. And there it recounts the story of a wealthy man in Jerusalem who was going to have a feast. And he wanted to invite all his friends, and he sent his messenger to invite his friend Kamsa. He also, this person had a person who he hated very much, whose name was Bar Kamsa. You can see the similarity, Kamsa and Bar Kamsa. Bar Kamsa was the sworn enemy of his. The agent made a mistake, messenger made a mistake, and invited Bar Kamsa to the banquet. So Bar Kamsa is sitting there, and the man making the banquet comes in and sees Bar Kamsa and says, "What are you doing here? Get out of here. I don't want you here with me." And Bar Kamsa didn't want to be embarrassed. He said, "Look, don't embarrass me. I'll pay for whatever I eat and drink." "Nope, I'm not interested. Get out." And he says, "Look, I'll pay for half of the whole event. Just don't embarrass me by kicking me out." And the man said, "No, you have to leave." He said, "I'll pay for the whole thing." And his hatred of the man was so great. He says, "Absolutely not." He grabbed him by the hand in front of everybody else and forcibly ejected him from the banquet, embarrassing him greatly. As a result of this, Bar Kamsa thought, what's happening here? Here the great rabbis were present at the banquet and nobody protested. So I'm going to slander the Jewish people to the Romans. And he went to the Caesar and he told him that the Jewish people are fomenting a revolt against you. They really don't like you, and you should take appropriate action. So I'm skipping some of the parts of it because of the length of it. But the bottom line is because of his actions, of Bar Kamsa's actions, the Romans ultimately came in and destroyed the second temple. And this was for the sin of baseless hatred, hatred without any reason. The message for our time is that we don't have a Beis Hamikdash today. The reason we don't have it today is because Beis Hamikdash cannot be rebuilt without us rectifying the thing that causes destruction in the first place. If it would be destroyed right now, if it was rebuilt because of our actions, then it can't be rebuilt. And what are our actions? Just look around you. Look around you and see how people are talking about one another. People who have a disagreement with ideas, instead of just dialoguing and having disagreement over the ideas, are calling people all kinds of names, have all kinds of hatred one for the other. In a government, a person doesn't like the policies. Here in Israel, a person may not like the government, the organization of the government that was democratically elected, but instead of arguing it, they spew hatred constantly. Not only here in Israel, but throughout the world. People, instead of engaging dialogue, have hatred. Hatred has severe consequences. We have to learn that. The question is asked by the Netivot Shalom, why was the first Beis Hamikdash only destroyed for 70 years when the sins were more severe? It seems they were more severe. I mean, bloodshed, immorality, idol worship were all things that were punishable by death. But yet the exile lasted only 70 years. Whereas here, hatred, we have a commandment in the Torah. You shall love your neighbor as yourself. Don't hate your person in your heart. Don't hate your person in your heart. That's a negative commandment. That's what is called a lav. The punishment for committing a negative commandment is certainly not death. At the time that the Sanhedrin was in existence, it was lashes, not death. So how come that penalty has lasted all these years, where on Tisha B'Av, so many things have happened to the Jewish people? The Inquisition started then, the World War I started on Tisha B'Av, or in that period of time. All these things have happened. And the Netivot Shalom says as follows. He says, with regard to the creation of the holy temples and of the tabernacle before them, what does God say? He says the whole aspect of the Beis Hamikdash, he says, V'asali mikdash b'shachanti b'socham, I will make a sanctuary and dwell within you, plural. And then with regard to the holy Oron, the ark that housed the Sefer Torah, the scrolls of the Torah, he said, V'asu Aron, in plural, I will make an ark for all of you. The fact that he used Lashon Rabim, plural, in both of these sentences indicates that God dwells in the children of Israel only when we are as one, as a nation. We're all together. As we said just before we accepted the Torah, we stood at Mount Sinai with one heart, one thought, unity, and that is the criterion. So the Netivot Shalom says it wasn't a punishment, but the minute the unity left, there was no longer any purpose for the Beis Hamikdash. So the power that held it together was gone because of the lack of unity. Our mission today is to bring unity back to our people, to the people of Israel, and to the world. We have a job as Jews to be a light to the nations. We have to show unity amongst ourselves, show baseless love, not baseless hatred, and that will bring Mashiach, will bring the restoration of the third temple. Thank you for listening on behalf of the Web Yeshiva. I wish everybody the ability to find love for your fellow person and remove hate from your heart. Shabbat Shalom.